Hi everyone, this is Andrew. I apologize for not making a video in a while, but I am back here. It is Monday, May 9, 2016, and I believe I have a very important piece of news I have to share with you. This is out of the Telegraph, the education section. Parents, smartphones harming children's ability to hold conversation, say teachers. And let me go ahead and read part of the article. Parents' immersion in smartphones have left some neglected children starting primary school unable to hold conversation, new research warns. Almost a third of children starting school are not ready for the classroom, with many lacking social skills, having speech problems, or not toilet trained. The survey of senior primary school staff has found. Teachers warn of children suffering from a lack of attention and interaction from parents obsessed with their smartphones. Let's go ahead and scroll down a little further. One head teacher said there is a limited parent-child interaction. 4-year-olds know how to swipe a phone but haven't a clue about conversations. Another primary school leader warned, "We are having more and more children entering early years stage with delayed speech and a lack of school readiness. I feel much of this is shown to challenging family circumstances alongside the rise of mobile phones and other mobile technology, which means parents are more often to be seen on the phone than talking to their children." Now, you can kind of connect this with the gun debate and say that, well, we have to ban guns because guns kill people, but in actuality, it's really who is behind the gun is killing people. It's not the gun itself that's killing people. So, of course, while this article goes into some very important topics, they're kind of leading into that conversation. Should we ban mobile phones? Well, no. As individuals, let's take responsibility on how we handle the new technology that's coming out in the marketplace. So now you have a whole new generation that's been raised on smartphones, and we're just beginning to see the consequences of people mismanaging technology. And again, this is individual responsibility. This isn't the phone itself. Another thing I want to mention as well is the article says some very important things about children's developmental behaviors, how they're becoming much slower, their speech is delayed, they don't have social skills or any unique interaction skills. And this is all due with the fact that the parents won't spend any time with their kids because they're all immersed in these phones. And you also see new technology that's coming out. I was in the movie theater yesterday not yesterday, the day before, watching Captain America Civil War, and they had an advertisement for one of those 3D technologies where you slip your phone into these glasses, and you put the glasses on, and you're basically put into an alternate universe, so to speak, or in a different environment. So parents are so distracted from everyday things that they can't take responsibility and raise their kids. That's really what this article is saying. It's not just the parents. Let me go ahead and also talk about, let's see, is this the article? Top 10 countries with highest divorce rates in 2014. I think this is, and of course this is parents. I didn't mean to say this is not just parents, but this is parents, and this is personal responsibility, and making sure that you take care of your kids. Early childhood trauma is not a joke. It's not something to be played with. And this whole new generation that is coming up now, yes, it's true, we are being more and more awakened to the realities of the Matrix. However, many of us, even if we are kind of awakened to it, we're just not ready to accept the fact that we're basically living in the Truman Show. That movie with Jim Carrey where he finds out that everything he's ever known, it was just one big television show. Well, that's kind of how the real world is, to tell you the truth. Now that I'm kind of done with that rant, let me go ahead and start a new rant. And this dovetails in explaining why I believe children have developmental disabilities with social skills, things like that. United States of America, this is an article that came out. Let me go ahead and try to scroll up. This is an article that came out in 2014. This is the top 10 countries with the highest divorce rates. I'm going to link this stuff down below. Sometimes my laptop doesn't want to cooperate, so here we go. I'm scrolling down now. United States of America is #1 in divorce rates. USA is a nation of multicultural people. In order for the U.S. citizens to cope with the challenges of advancements and development, they live really hectic lives with lots of workload, which means no time for the families. Well, maybe that also has a lot to do with the collapse of the economy. I don't know. That's just me. Thus, USA has the highest divorce rate in the world, which has 5 times increased during this year as compared to 2013. And again, this is 2014. Now, we've seen the gradual decline in the economy since 2008, although you had the big smash in 2008 and you had a continued slow burn of the economy. More and more people are struggling. That tends to weigh on a marriage. You know, the husband gets laid off and he can't find his work, so he doesn't know where to find self-worth. He can't take care of his family, and his wife is working 2 jobs just to keep the family going, and they're barely holding on together. And in the meantime, they also have kids, and everybody's arguing about money. I also believe the #1 reason why marriages do break up is because of money. So you can clearly see that as the economy continues to decline, more and more issues begin to arise in society as a whole. Now you have a whole generation of children that are growing up that have never had maybe a mother figure in their lives or never had a father figure in their lives. And we're seeing that more and more. I remember I went to a private school in high school, and it was about, I want to say about 100 students in the school. It wasn't a very big school. And almost every kid that went to that school, almost everyone had a broken family. Like, it was for learning, learning disabilities or people with social behavioral issues. And 9 out of 10 of them had parents who were divorced or had parents who fought, one another. You know what I mean? So this whole issue with parents and not staying together and the destruction of the nuclear family, that is causing absolute havoc in the minds of children. And people don't realize that, but it's true. I mean, when you're growing up as an infant, you need a female role model. You need a male role model. And when one or perhaps both aren't present in one's life, it makes it very difficult to be able to relate to others. And I have to tell you something. I'm a product of that. I will admit that. And that's why I'm doing a video on this right now to stress how important I believe personally a nuclear family really is. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn to another article here. Autism Speaks. And I'm going to kind of dovetail what I was talking about with the divorce rates and the new smartphones, and also talk about autism and how autism is on the rise. Now, we do understand that autism is on the rise because of the food and water. Not arguing that. It's absolutely true that we're consuming plastic foods. That does wreak havoc in our, ability to develop at an early age. A lot of the baby formulas that are out there have, certain plastic substances that basically blocks the brain, blocks the blood flow from developing in certain areas of the brain. Also, the vaccines as well have different heavy metal particles in them that makes it very difficult for the child to develop language and all the other good stuff that you need to grow into a healthy adult. This is out of Autism Speaks. New government survey pegs autism prevalence at 1 in 45 children. This article, I believe, this is out of 2015, so just last year. National Health Interview Survey underscores gap between the number of kids diagnosed with autism and the number receiving services. And this video is already going 10 minutes long. I have a 15-minute limit, so if I'm rushing towards the end, I do apologize for that. Again, I'm going to link this down below so you'll have a chance to check this out. A new government survey of parents suggests that 1 in 45 children ages 3 through 17 have been diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. This is notably higher than the official government estimate of 1 in 68 American children with autism by the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, CDC. Because the new numbers come from a parent survey, they don't replace the CDC and 1 in 68 figure as the official estimate of autism prevalence in the United States. However, the CDC has acknowledged in its estimate has significant limitations. It's based on analysis of the medical and school records of 8-year-old children at monitoring sites across the country. As such, it can miss children who are not receiving medical or special educational services related to autism. So even the CDC is reporting it's 1 of every 45 children. There's also reports, and I couldn't find this earlier, that says by somewhere in 2020, I believe, or 2050, that it's going to be 1 of every 3rd child will have autism. 1 of every 3rd. It's on the rise. People with severe trauma and severe mental disabilities in one form or another, it's growing. Yeah, because of the amount of stress the society is putting on us, you know. And I was listening to the Alex Jones part of it yesterday, and they're discussing something, and this may be a little bit off topic, but they were talking about how women kind of feel when they look at magazine covers. You see these models in the magazine covers, and they essentially starve themselves to death in order to look as thin as they are. And there just so happens to be in many of those magazines an ad for antidepressants, which is very odd that you see an antidepressant ads in those magazines. It shows you that the people that are purchasing those magazines really suffer from severe depression and it's some issues, and you know, and the fact that more and more people are having autism, stuff like that, that really continues to add to the self-love. You know, in order to be successful in life, we all have to have some sort of self-love in one form or another, right? So this, of course, continues the autism and the other stuff continues to really add pressure on one's ability to be able to socially interact in the world. Although that was a little bit off topic, the point that I was really trying to get at is you have to the point I'm trying to get at really is we don't have a healthy country. And this is another thing that I'm using to dovetail all this in. This is out of CNN. More than 1 in 10 in U.S. take antidepressants. So 11, and this is of course again mainstream news right here. 11% of Americans over age 12 take antidepressants, according to a report released Wednesday by Centers of Disease Control. The study compiled by the National Center for Health Statistics looked at data from 2005 to 2008, among other key findings. So you have divorce rates that have skyrocketed. You have an economy that's completely plunging, making it harder and harder to make ends meet. You have more and more people on antidepressants. And of course, with smartphones, you have more and more children with developmental delays. And they're saying it's because of smartphones. I say it's because of the parents not taking responsibility for being in their children's lives. Now, let me leave you off with this question because I'm running out of time. What type of relationship are these children going to have in another 20 years? How are the little girls growing up going to feel about the other men in their lives when their fathers aren't in their lives? Or how are men going to feel about women when their mothers weren't in their lives? So thank you for watching. Take care. God bless. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.